hello, what's up, guys? So today we're gonna solve our very first problem. Okay, so the name of the problem is odd even. So before moving to the problem description, I would like to tell you one thing, that this problem is very basic. I mean to say, if you have some prior knowledge of coding, like if you have ever done coding in any language, C, C++, Java, or Python, and if your concept is clear, if your basic concept is clear, then you can easily solve this problem. Okay, and after reading the problem statement, you will relate these words. Okay, so start. let's start your coding journey with a very basic problem. Are you excited? Yes, I am. Are you? Okay, I know you are. Okay, so let's begin. So you are given an array of size n. Okay, so you are given an array of size n containing n integers. Okay, so basically you are given an array n in which you have given n integers. Okay, you are asked to print all the even elements in the first line. Okay, and all the odd elements in the second line. Okay, the array will contain at least one even and one odd element. Okay, so basically it is saying that you are given an array of size n and n array elements. What you have to do, you have to print the all the even numbers in the first line and all the odd number in the second line. So let's understand it with an example. Okay, so the input format is saying that the first line contains an integer n. Okay, and the second line contains n space separated integers, that you are understanding. Okay, the first line have to take an integer n, and in the second line what we have to take, we have to take the array input. Okay, and the output is saying that it in the first line print space separated even elements. Okay, and in the second line print space separated odd elements. What we have to do, that we have to print in the first line, we have to print the space separated even elements. In the second line we have to print the space separated odd elements. Okay, now what is constraint? So these terms may seem new to you, so don't worry about it. I will make you understand in the later video. I will make a separate video on constraint and time limit. Okay, so for now you can ignore it. So constraint is nothing, is basically the range of our input. So our input here, our input is n and the array element. So the range of n can lie between 2 to 10 to the power 3, and the value of our array elements can lie between 1 to 10 to the power 4. Now time limit is 1 second. I will explain later. Okay, now let's understand what the problem is saying that. So the input saying that the first line contains an integer n. So let's suppose the value of n I have given in this example is 10. Okay, so this is the first line. So suppose this is your input screen. Suppose this is your input screen and you have given the input 10. Okay, now in the second line you have given n space separated integers. So let's give it. So in the second line, this is first line, this is second line. Okay, this is first line and this is second line. So in the second line we have given 10 space separated integers. The point is to be noted, space separated integers. So see, here we have given space separated integers. Okay, so through scanf we can easily take these inputs, and you people know that how can you take input through scanf. Okay, so this is the input format. Now come to the output format. What output format is saying that in the first line print space separated even elements. Okay, so in the output screen, as you will type enter here, your output should be printed, and in the output it is saying that in the first line you have to print all the even elements with space. So see, this is our input, and through this input we have printed all the even elements. See, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and see, here's the space in between the elements. So what here it is saying that in the first line print space separated even elements. This is a point to be noted. Some people ignore these things, but if you will compile and run this program in any competitive coding, like in any placement coding, then it may cause an error. So your result may or may not get accepted if you will not get space. Okay, so you have to print the output the same as the question is mentioned. Okay, as in the question mentioned. Okay, so you have to print just like this. Okay, so what is saying that in the first line you have to print space separated even elements, as we have printed space separated even elements, and in the second line what you have to print in the second line. Now how will you move to the second line? you will move to the second line using printf, that I will see later. We will see later. So in the second line, print space separated odd elements. So in the second line, what we have printed? We have printed space separated odd elements. So what is the odd element? 5, 3, 1, 7, 9. These all these are odd elements. Okay. So now you have understood. Now you have understood the input and output. So now let's understand here. Okay. So in the input, what is basically saying that it is saying that the first line contains integer n, and we have taken 10 as an example. Suppose user gives 10. So what will be the code for it? Okay, I'm showing the corresponding line, its input and corresponding code. So it will be easier to you to grab it. Okay, so let's understand. So input format is 10. So how will you take an integer value? Simply you will declare integer n, and you will simply take integer value through scanf. So this is the code for this. Okay, now come to the second point. In the second point, in the second input point, it is saying that you have to take in n space separated integers. Now how will you take n space separated integers, and how will you take n elements in any language? Basically you have to create an array, because n, you don't know what is the value of n, so you have to create an array to take it. So we are creating an array of size n, and simply we are looping through, and we are taking the array input. It is basic thing, you know that. Okay, so we have taken the input. Now come to the output format. Now come to the output format. Now see, in output it is saying that in the first line, print space separated even elements. So this is the output, and for this, what will be the code? See, here I'm looping through, and I'm basically writing the logic of even number. So what is the logic of even number? So if I will divide the number by 2, if I get the remainder as 0, then it is even number. That is basic thing, you know that. So if I'm getting even number, I'm simply printing it. See, after %d, I'm making a space, I'm giving space. Why this space? Because this is space, because in the output format it is saying that in the first line you have to print space separated even elements, so you must have to give space here. Okay, so basically we have done this. Okay, now in the second output format it is saying that in the second line you have to print space separated odd elements. Now here a point to be noted, that it is saying that in the second line. So how will you move to the second line? To move to the second line, you have to write this statement, print /n. This code will move your cursor to the next line. Okay, and in the next line, what you have to print? You have to print space separated odd elements. So see, here we have printed all the odd elements with space separation. Okay, now basically what we are doing here, we are looping through, and we are simply making a logic of odd number. See, if the if I will divide the number by 2, and if the remainder is not 0, then it is odd number. So we are printing it. See, I have given a space here. Okay, so you must have to give space here, and simply we are printing it. So that's all for this program. This is very basic program, guys. I'm saying if you will just take care, you will easily solve it. So I want you to all solve it. You can solve it, and you can also solve in my website. That here you will also get the compiler option. So as you will here, you will click it, you will see a compiler. So now here you can code it. Okay, I have already coded this, so I'm showing you, but you can code here. Okay, no issue. So see, I have coded here. What basically I'm doing, that I'm taking an integer n, through scanf I'm taking an integer an array, and through for loop I'm taking, and this is the logic for even element. I'm printing it with space separation, and after that I'm giving a /n, because I have to print the output in the next line for the odd elements. And basically I'm doing a for loop. This is for odd elements, and finally I'm return 0. So now this is our example input 10, and this is our 10 space separated input. Now if I run this program, I should get our expected output. What is our expected output? Our expected output is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and in the next line 5, 3, 1, 7, 9. Let's see whether we are getting it not. So as I run this program, so let's see what we are getting. Okay, so see, we have got the answer. So see, just match it. So I am just showing it. I'm just showing it parallelly. See, this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, and in the next line it is showing 5, 3, 1, 7, 9. So it is 5, 3, 1, 7, 9. So we have successfully solved the first problem. I'm feeling very good that I have solved the first problem. Don't worry, we will solve a lot more problem. Okay, so For now, it's okay. See you in the next video. So तब तक के लिए stay tuned. Okay.